Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from Columbus, Ohio, and the U.S. Men's National Team World Cup qualifying training camp. Today we'll be joined by the head coach of the U.S. Men's National Team, Gregg Berhalter, and forward Christian Pulisic. If you'd like to get in a queue to ask Gregg a question, you may do so now. We will begin with questions and start with Stephen Goff from the Washington Post.
Hey, Gregg. Hope you're staying warm.
Hey, Stephen.
Just want to check on status of some players who maybe hadn't reported yet, won't report, and anyone else that, as you said the other day, might not be ready.
Okay. Who in particular are you looking for?
You tell me. Zach Steffen, DeAndre, anybody else that you're able to share?
So Zach is not with the team. He's listed as day-to-day. He's getting treatment in Manchester, and we're going to see if and when he can make it the trip over, if it makes sense based on his health. DeAndre is arriving today. Istanbul had an ice storm, and they're forced to cancel a lot of flights, so he wasn't able to get out. He'll be arriving today. Everybody else is ready to go.
Next will be Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
Thanks so much. Hi, Gregg.
Hey, Paul.
These are the same three opponents from September. I wonder how different, though, this team is from those first three games against these three teams to now. How much have you guys learned, do you think, over the course of qualification? How much more confidence do you have in this group of knowing what you're going to get? How different is it, El Salvador, Canada, Honduras today than it was at the start of qualifying? Thank you.
I think one of the differences is that we're going to be playing 2 games at home, so I think that's that changes things a little bit. The group has had experience in World Cup qualifying. The group is more healthy now, and the group is confident. What I'd say is all those things are in our favor, but at the end of the day, it's about performing on the field, right? We can do all the talking we want now, but it will be about tomorrow at game time, showing it on the field. And we're in good shape. We're ready to go, and now it's just about performing. We know it's an opponent that's going to be aggressive. They're going to be pressing really high, and we got to move the ball quickly. They were the best pressing team in the first 8 games in terms of amount of presses. So it's an aggressive team, and we got to be prepared.
We'll go to Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hey, Gregg. Watching Christian the last month or so, what did you think of his performances both at center forward and right wing back? And does that make you think at all that at points you might use him in either of those ways?
I just love the fact that Christian is fighting. He's fighting to be on the field. And whether he plays forward, his natural position as a winger, a withdrawn attacking midfielder, or if he plays wing back, he'll do whatever it takes to be on the field. And I think that's the mark of character. That's the mark of someone who knows how valuable it is to play for a club like Chelsea. And it's been fun watching him. Scored a great goal against Liverpool, against Man City. He's playing a very difficult game. He's doing a good job. And so for us, it's been fun to watch him and his team. They obviously won the Champions League last year. We're battling for the title last year, this year as well. They're going to be playing the Club World Championships. Just really high level of club that he's at.
We'll go to Doug McIntyre from Fox.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, Gregg. You've talked, I think, in the past about wanting to average 2 points a game throughout qualifying. Curious why that number you might not need quite that high an average to qualify. And given that that's the goal, how many points from these 3 upcoming games would be acceptable to you? Thank you.
So if I explicitly said 2 points per game, I don't exactly remember that. What I'd say is we have high aspirations for our team. We want to qualify for the World Cup. That's the most important thing. I'm not getting hung up on points per game. I'm getting hung up on qualifying for the World Cup. And, it would be nice to try to win the group. But there's a lot that needs to happen for that to take place. And we're focused, Doug, on El Salvador. That's really it. I haven't done, you might have got me back in September when I was a little bit more bold with my prediction. You know, my prediction now is one game at a time. You know that, and for me, at the end of the 14 games, you want to be in the top 3 spots. That's the most important thing, and that's what we're focused on.
Fair enough.
Good try, though.
Next will be Drake Hill from the Tennessean.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Hey, Greg. I had a question for you about Kellyn Acosta. Why, in your eyes, has Kellyn continually been able to insert himself in particularly thinking back to this cycle back in September against these teams? What technically and mentally allows him to continually put himself into the team? And then also, just given the type of player he is with the experience he had, especially going back to the last World Cup cycle, are you able to use that to amplify your message in the locker room, particularly with this cycle and obviously in March as well?
Well, Kellyn's a competitor. First and foremost, and we know we need guys on the field that want to compete to win games. We know it's highly competitive fixtures. Every single game, there's a lot on the line. And there's a small difference between winning and losing. So to have a guy on the field that you know is going to compete is valuable. We're very comfortable with Kellyn. He's played in big games for us. He played in Nations League final, Gold Cup final, played in big qualifiers. So, you know, he's a guy that is a great team player and is great to have on the team. You know, his effort, his work rate really, I think, inspires other players and his mentality. So whether Kellyn is on the field tomorrow or not, we know that we can use him at any time. We can call on him at any time.
Next will be Kyle Bonagura from ESPN FC.
Hi, Greg. Just wondering, when you go into a 3-game window like this, how much of the rotation in terms of who's going to start game 1 is predetermined with an overall plan for the 3 games versus adjusting after the first game is played and kind of seeing where to go from there?
We're focused on winning the game tomorrow, and we're going to do whatever we can to win the game. After we do that, we'll focus on Canada and how we're going to win that game, how we're going to prepare for that game, and then after that, we'll focus on Honduras. We're not getting ahead of ourselves, and we're not planning out a rotation right now. I'm sure the lineups will be different game to game, but our focus right now is on the game tomorrow.
We'll go to Sam Stejskal from The Athletic.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks, Greg, for taking the time. Hope you're doing well.
Thanks,
I'm wondering
Sam.
about Tim Weah's fitness level. Obviously, he recently returned from injury. Is he able to, fit enough to go from the start tomorrow? And then what's Matt Turner's kind of approach been like this week? I imagine it's similar to what it always is, but obviously he's in a slightly different position now with Zach out here.
For Matt, it's similar to the first window, where he was the clear starter going in based on Zach's fitness. Same case in this window, and he's locked in and ready to go. You hear some transfer rumors going around, and you think that would distract the player, and Matt's the opposite. He's able to tune that out and really focus on the task at hand of the game tomorrow. So I've been pleased with that, been pleased with his mindset. It shows how far he's come to get himself in this position. And then, regarding everything else, Timmy Weah, I'm sure you've seen he started the last game with Lille and played 67 minutes. So they thought he was fit enough to start a game, and they're in a tough competition. And we're seeing the same thing. Timmy looks great. He's worked extremely hard getting back. With the return to play protocols, he wouldn't even be back available to be a substitute unless he was 100% ready to go. And then to start him, it shows that they were comfortable with the loads that he's been achieving and his fitness, because they wouldn't risk re-injuring him. So Tim's at a great point, and we'll look forward to seeing what he can do this window for us.
We'll go to Ivis Galarcep from SBI Soccer.
Hey, Greg, I want to ask you two different topics here. First, Anthony Robinson, who's come a long way from 2019 when he didn't make the Gold Cup team. What's impressed you the most about his evolution, particularly this season? He's having a real breakout season at Fulham, and it's already coming together for him. What's impressed you the most? And the second one is about Tyler Adams, Christian Pulisic, and Weston McKennie together. You haven't had them together very often. How tough's that been for you to not be able to have them in the lineup together very often? And what's it going to mean for the team when you can finally get those three in the lineup together?
Well, I think, I really took advice from some of the ex-national team coaches, and particularly Bruce and Jurgen and Bob, and when they're telling me that, listen, the national team, you're not going to be able to call on all your guys all the time. It's just not happening. Just due to injuries, suspensions, club releases, whatever you have, it's going to be complicated. So we've rolled with that mindset, and we just adapt. And whoever's in camp, whoever's fit, whoever's available, we go with them. We're confident in the group. We're confident in the depth of this group. And that's just part and parcel of coaching the national team. So we'll deal with that. Regarding the other question was what? Who was Anthony Robinson. Anthony Robinson. It's a great story. The story is about a guy who doesn't make, as you mentioned, the Gold Cup team. And I say all the time, just because you don't make one roster doesn't determine your status with the team indefinitely. Everything changes based on your form, based on what you're doing for your club, based on how you perform with us. And Anthony's a guy who clawed his way back into it and is the clear starter at left back. He's done a great job with his club. They're in great form. He's scoring goals. He's relentless attacking, and he's done a good job with us. He's had assists and goals and qualifiers and been rock steady back there. So with him, it's nice to have a guy that's in great form coming into this window, and we hope that he'll continue that this camp.
We'll go to Miles Harris.
Hey, Greg. Hope all is well with you today. My question, not specifically about a player, but you're quite familiar with Columbus and really the fan base that's really grown pretty well here. What does the fan base and really just the entire city mean for U.S. men's soccer?
Wow, I don't even know where to start with that answer, because it means so much. There's the history of Columbus hosting the national team is deep. It's lengthy. We've had some great success here. When I think about the last World Cup qualifier that we played here against Costa Rica, on the way to the stadium in the bus, the streets were lined with fans, and it felt like an intense atmosphere. It felt like a real soccer atmosphere, and that's what we know Columbus can bring. When people talk about venue selection and how do we choose these venues, everything's taken into consideration, but certainly one that's top priority is having a home fan base. And with Columbus, we're really comfortable with the fan base. We're really comfortable that it's going to be pro-American, it's going to be intense, and it's going to be loud. And it's a great place for us to play World Cup qualifiers.
Columbus has hosted 11 World Cup qualifiers all time, the most of any city in the United States. Also the U.S., the 8 victories here, the most for the U.S. in World Cup qualifying in any city as well. Next will be Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks, Greg. Fully understanding the one game at a time mantra at this point. This particular FIFA window and this set of games were ones that I think we all looked at when the schedule was first laid out as being really significant because of the 3 games in the last window and the historical struggles of the U.S. at Mexico and Costa Rica, and having 2 home games in this cycle. And I wonder if that has come up this time around, even understanding, as you said, the one game at a time mantra, that there is a bigger picture here, and this window is pretty important to rack some points up.
Yeah, it's a really tough question, Jonathan, because the way I see it is all windows are tough, all windows are difficult, all windows are important. Any 3-game window, there's 9 points on the line, right? This window is no different, and every point is valuable. Every point you get gets you closer to eventually qualifying for the World Cup. So to us, there's no extra emphasis. We know that we want to compete to win every single game, and it starts with tomorrow. I think it gets a little bit dangerous when you start overemphasizing one window versus other windows. We want to be able to compete and put a good team on the field every single game and every single window.
Next will be Daniel Nora from Univision.
Hi, Greg. I just want to ask you how risky is to face a team that apparently has nothing to lose. They mentioned that prior to the game. And I want to ask you, too, about Walker Zimmerman and his evolution process during these qualifiers.
So The way I see it, every game is extremely difficult. When teams have nothing to lose, when they have, when they need to win, all these, whatever scenario you could imagine, it makes the game extremely difficult, and we're prepared for it. El Salvador is an example of a team that they're not out of it, right? 16 points is in the lead. There's 18 points left to play. So they can get themselves back into this. It could happen. They need to win their games. Regarding Walker is a player that, like Anthony Robinson, may not have been involved every step of the way. There might have been some disappointments along the way, but all he did is keep playing and keep performing. And when he got his opportunity, he took advantage of that. And that's what you want as national team coach. Because it's a selection, you want guys that when you pick them are going to perform and do their very best. Walker's been great, not only on the field but off the field. He's a leader. He's a pillar in this group, and it's been great working with him.
Next will be Grant Wall.
Hey, Greg. I'm just getting off the plane and joining this now, so you've already been asked this. We can move forward. But
okay.
I wanted to ask about set pieces. U.S. has always had a big advantage against teams with the way you handle set pieces at the attacking end and the defensive end. And yet during qualifying, it hasn't worked as well for you, I would say, at either end. Is that a concern for you? And are you addressing that? How are you addressing it?
I think our big concern, Grant, is just the overall plus-minus number. Right now we're -1 on set pieces. We've given up 1 goal, and we haven't scored any on set pieces. So that is a concern. We want to be in the green. We want to be positive in that. We think we have a strong team in the air. We think we have a strong team on our offensive set pieces. And we've proven that. When you think about Gold Cup and Nations League combined in the 2 finals, we scored 4 set-piece goals. So we know we have it in us, and we just need to execute a little bit better on the offensive end. Defensively, I think we've been fine. We've been solid. We haven't given up much.
Thank you very much, Greg. We will be right back with Christian Pulisic.